Hello, my name is Hannah Garvey, and this is my presentation for my literature review based on the critical issues that are surrounding bilingualism. So for my abstract and introduction, I talked about how bilingualism links language, culture, and identity. So the four critical issues that surround bilingualism are identity formation and belonging, language loss and revitalization, equity and bilingual education, and the political and economic implications of bilingualism. So my focus is on these issues and how to promote inclusion, access, and student equity when talking about all of these critical issues. My research question for my literature review is, how do identity, equity, and policy shape bilingual students' experiences? So many bilingual students go through different experiences in the education systems, and how do these critical issues shape their experiences as bilingual people? I think this matters because these experiences shape the academic growth that bilingual people go through and their identity formation, whether they feel valued in their classroom, whether they feel their cultures are represented in the classroom, or are they being forced to assimilate to an English only standard where they have struggles with their identity formation, which can lead to larger problems later in life. So my first critical issue I talk about is identity formation and belonging. So it is very apparent and well known that language shapes identity formation and your sense of belonging. If you are in a classroom with students that do not speak your language, it's gonna be hard to feel like you belong there. So another thing I talk about is affirming home languages in the classroom. This helps students build confidence, this promotes engagement, and this supports their academic growth. So overall, creating that inclusive learning environment by using culturally responsive practices, such as referencing cultures in different texts that you use, displaying different cultures around your classroom. This can help bilingual students feel represented and valued. The next critical issue I talk about is language loss and revitalization. So language loss has been something that's been very prevalent in the United States due to these English only instructions and programs that are forcing immigrants and bilingual people to not speak their language in school whatsoever and only speak English, making them somewhat feel ashamed of their cultures and their home languages. So to prevent this, we have to maintain home languages and support families. We need to preserve cultures, and this can even promote cognition skills as well. So educators can help prevent that language loss. They can encourage students to use translanguaging in the classroom, where students feel free to switch between two languages if they feel that they can't express themselves as they want to in English. And if they want to use their home language to express themselves, they can, or just using the culturally responsive practices and relevant texts in the classroom to help students feel supported and valued and represented. And revitalization can also be done through dual language education in connection with families. Unfortunately, dual language is not always available for all bilingual students. So their next best thing that they can get is these culturally responsive practices and relevant texts in the classroom. My next critical issue is equity and access in bilingual education. So ELs often lack the necessary resources and the supports they need to thrive academically. Sadly, a lot of these resources and supports are given to schools that have more funding, which are usually schools that a lot of bilingual students are not at. So equity for bilingual students means that we need to value bilingualism as an asset and not a deficit as educators, and see them for their strengths and not for their weaknesses in the classroom. And again, use these culturally responsive practices to help students access these resources to close the opportunity gaps. And my last critical issue is political and economic implications. So bilingual policies are influenced by politics and funding. So, due to people's beliefs on immigration, bilingualism, people not speaking English, this can affect the policies that are created around bilingualism. Bilingual policies often don't reflect the economic benefits of bilingualism, which can include better job opportunities, communication skills, higher pays. So it is apparent that bilingualism promotes global competence and equity, and we need to reflect this by making more equitable bilingual policies. And some implications for practice that I noted in my literature review are to definitely implement these culturally responsive practices in my instruction for my diverse learners, definitely to promote family engagement for my families that don't speak English in any way possible, using any translation tools that are available. And then also to implement additive bilingualism in order for students to maintain their home language while learning English. So having them still be able to speak their home language and add on to their English learning. For future research, I will focus on how bilingual students experience belonging and how this sense of identity affects their motivation and academic success. I would use mixed methods such as surveys, interviews, and classroom studies with my students. And my goal overall is to promote bilingualism as a strength and a right in every learning environment. Here are some of my references. And that would conclude my recording. Thank you.